Hello and welcome. I'm GameScribe and welcome to another episode of Darkest Dungeon. We'll be going to try to do the Necromancer quest, which is basically we have to go into the ruins and kill a apprentice Necromancer. Let's see here. I think we should be able to do it with this party. I don't see why we wouldn't. My plague doctor is a little bit stressed, but since I'm using some mods, I should be able to help with that.
Mastery over life and death was chief among my early pursuits. I began in humility, but my ambition was limitless. Who could have divined the prophetic import of something as unremarkable as a twitch in the leg of a dead rat? A devil walks these halls. Only the mad or the desperate go in search of him.
Sucks. I think the boss would be somewhere over in the bottom left, mainly because I've heard a rumor saying that the boss usually appears at the first tile away from the player. But I'm just gonna go down so I can try and get this chest. And while I'm going through the boss fights in this game, I'm going to try to give a a walkthrough of how to beat the boss or strategies to use against him. I'll do this. I'm trying to get my plague doctor stressed down using that ability. Anything to get her stressed down so that when the fight comes, she doesn't get instantly terrified and freak out.
These nightmares can be beaten.
My apologies. Oh, that's what's in here. I hate these guys. I hate any guy that is specifically designed to create stress in your team. It just really annoys me.
Continue the onslaught.
So I gotta make it my priority to kill him.
Them all.
Alright, that's good. I can heal damage. Stress is just a pain in the ass to get rid of, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of turns to get rid of it.
Is a rarity.
As you can tell, I'm using a couple mods. I don't think in the last video I set out what mods I was using. I know, as you can see here, this character in the second row isn't part of the main game. He's part of the pit. He's the pit fighter. Essentially, he just basically uses brute strength and fists to win fights, and he's basically a frontline stunner, which is one of the best in the game. Essentially, if you are new to this game, the one thing you want to remember is that stuns essentially win you the game. If you can stun an enemy, it's better to stun them if you can't guarantee a kill, simply because if you stun them, they can't attack you, they can't deal any stress to you, they're no longer a threat, and you can just continue on trying to wear one down until he dies, then move on to the next one. And there are times where other status effects are better, such as sometimes an enemy has high stun resistance, but you might have like low bleed or low blight resistance. And at that point, you just want to try and blight them or bleed them, or whichever one it is. Let's see what's in here. Another thing I have is one second. Okay, no, it's there. I have a stacking mod, so now like I think money stacks almost infinitely. I think torches used to, but now they don't. I know like heirlooms now stack up a lot more. It used to be you can only carry like 2 heads or 2 busts, and now I can carry at least 4. At least that's how many I've gotten on one quest using this mod. Ah, crap. I'll stun the back row so that they can't attack me anymore. Damn. Heal's always nice. And because I can't guarantee that kill on the cutthroat, I'm going to try and stun him. He still has stun resist, so I'm going to blight him. That's the one thing. If you repeatedly stun an enemy, they're going to end up getting that passive for that buff. I should say it's not a passive, it's a buff. Essentially, if you stun an enemy, they the turn after that, they will have a 40% chance to resist the stun. So if they have an already 40% chance to stun, they'll then have 80. And there's some items you can get later on in the game where that's not that much. You can just easily blow through it because they'll be like, oh, well, the item will say, oh, well, you get like 20% extra chance to stun. So that might help you in a little bit, but if an enemy already has like an 80% chance to resist stun, it's usually not worth it.
Too will resistance.
I didn't really lose much there. It was only a torch. That was the most valuable thing there. I hate when... I think the first character always comes out and he's a kleptomaniac. That's one of his quirks. If you're new to this game, basically it's a negative quirk where he will randomly walk up to an object and try to steal it. Oh, this is interesting. It's a mini boss. We might actually get a good item out of this if we can get him down really quickly. Otherwise, it's going to be a really hard fight. So he has a 50% chance to stun. Oh shit. Yeah, I was hoping he wouldn't get a chance to do that. This is going to suck now.
Annihilated. Decimated.
I'm going to keep the Vestal because though the Vestal can heal, it doesn't even necessarily heal that much. Hell, he heals more than that. Can I stun him? Hell yeah. There we go. Shit. I don't want the Vestal trying to buff the boss because that boss hits hard. And as you just saw, I believe he's called the Head Collector. Let me see. Yeah, the Collector. Essentially, his as you can see, he can essentially summon your characters to the at least abominations of your character to the side of the field. So like there's the Vessel who buffs and or heals. He can summon the Highwayman, which does a lot of damage, as well as the Men-at-Arms, who is a pain in the ass because the Men-at-Arms will try to basically block all damage you deal. Wow, he actually managed to resist the debuff, which would make him more inaccurate, and the bleed. Which I'm surprised he can actually blood, considering he looks like he's just a skeleton.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Alright, one at a time. Let's see if I can stun the Collector again. There it is. There it is. Alright, so now if you get into the situation where, as you can see, he gains 25% protect and he's guarded, I believe if you stun him, it sends him back and he gets the same buff, but the boss or whoever he's guarding no longer has that protection. And I believe the Collector has a chance to use Collect Call. The more allies he has on his side of the field, the more likely he will use Collect Call. Like if he has no people on the field, he has like a 99% chance to use it. But if he has 3, he only has like 5% chance. I think he's used it on me before and he had a full team. But if you do manage to kill him, he drops some really good stuff. Let's send him back. Ooh, this is gonna hurt. And that's what I hate about this boss too, is every time he uses that, he gains 10 health. But thankfully I can do this. He has little to no blight resistance, so I can just keep doing that over and over and over again. Aw, son of a bitch. Seriously, guy. There, now he'll take 8 damage per turn, so hopefully that does something.
Unforgiving.
Okay, so that's the buff. As I said in the last video, this game kind of bases its art style and character designs off Lovecraftian lore. You know how seeing certain things can cause the human mind to kind of what's the word, collapse in on itself, which is an interesting mechanic for the stress system, I believe. Which is probably why I put $100 into it. The designs look fantastic.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
It is stun resistance, so let's try and just hit him. We haven't even gotten to the real freaking boss. This guy's taking forever. If I can get one more hit off on him with a blight attack, he might die. Yeah, if I can do one more damage, I'll bring it down to 8, which will be just enough to kill him with blight. And now he's in melee range, so I might be able to kill him like that. Nope, as I was. Nice stun him. Damn. There, finally. Wow, that was just a mini boss. He's one of the hardest you can encounter this early in the game, usually, because I got lucky. He wasn't able. His minions weren't able to attack me at all because I kept stunning them because I had the pit fighter with me, and I gave him stunning abilities. So that's also nice. Punch. Seriously, guy? Really? I gave my Plague Doctor no attack that can strike the first 2 rows, so this fight's gonna go on a little bit longer. There, finally, thank God. And all we got was that useless shit.
Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying.
Wow, I have never been so let down in this game. An item it's only worth selling. Only he can drop 3. I think he can drop 3 items. They each it'll be like increased damage. I know one of the best ones is increased damage, and another one is like increase how much you can heal, or increase healing skills. But wow, that was a fucking major disappointment.
Another one falls. Executed with impunity.
Oh, that went fucking great. $18 damage with. That's just his basic attack. It's not even doing anything really special.
Brought low and driven into the mud.
I'll use my last key to see what's in this chest.
Wealth beyond
Gold.
measure. awarded to the brave and the
So that
fool
mod, that
already
stacking mod I was
alike.
talking about here, you can say I have 2,250. If this text goes away, normally the max is, I believe, 1,500. Which once you get into like really long missions where you can find nothing but gold, and you're sitting here going like, okay, I have like 20 stacks of gold, but I don't really need that much. But I also don't want to throw it
The
away.
light, the promise of safety.
A little bit closer. Of course.
Mind that such missteps are the exception and not the rule.
Stay out of the maiden.
Even the cold stone seems
golf
bent on
shovels.
preventing passage.
You can never have too many of those. Those things are just a major pain in the ass.
The way is lit. The path is clear.
Oh, now
You
they don't show me
require
where the
only
freaking
the
boss is.
strength to follow it. As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
I now find myself back in the warrens among the remains of my companions. My wounds are too severe to allow the completion of my task. Thus, the desecration must resume another time. Curious, there's a ring in my pocket. Where it came from, I cannot begin to guess, though it bears a sigil of the estate's ancestral owner. Very curious. Boss fight. Yep, here it is.
Fierce, terrible,
Alright, so
nightmare-made material.
the Necromancer, of course, performs necromancy to try and basically with every attack he does, he essentially raises a random minion. The main thing you want to do is, while keeping your party alive, you want to try and kill that minion so he doesn't go all the way towards the back.
Another abomination.
Once he's in the back, your
cleansed
main
from all
party
lands.
damage dealers can't hit him, which you don't want. You want him to stay where he is as long as possible. Yeah, unfortunately, there isn't really too much to this boss. I mean, he is the first boss, so you can't really expect a lot. I know the next boss in the ruins, the Prophet, is a lot harder than this because he has an almost insta-kill ability, which is a real big pain in the ass. But yeah, just keep wailing on him. Killing whatever minions he summons. Of course, it doesn't really help that I'm pretty much buffing up my melee characters to do insane amounts of damage with a single punch. I don't have a high chance. Let's see if it works. Oh, it worked. I'm honestly surprised that the stun actually hit him. Right now we just wail on him. One last hit should do it. Hopefully it comes from my Crusader. Nope, never mind. I should still be able to hit him because he only summons one per attack, and so far he's still in the second row. He shouldn't be able to go anywhere.
With no living sinew to actuate them, will these walking bones finally fail?
I'm sorry, I got
This
two other
expedition
items. Those
at
actually
least
might be
promises
decent.
Success.
I'm gonna put the stun stone on my Crusader. Actually, I'm gonna put it on my Pit Fighter because he's all about stuns. My debuff resist, I'll save that for later, probably in the cove. There's not much else here, so I'm gonna go return back to the hamlet. So we got 4,500 gold, 4 busts, which are very rare and good. crests, 6 crests. Those are very freaking easy to find. I honestly don't give a shit about them. Portraits are rare, deeds are rare, and we got the Book of Sanity, which basically reduces stress damage by 20% of whoever's wearing it. Can be very useful. Unholy Slayer, holy shit. Hard noggin. If I'm able to, I might lock that in simply because the Crusader naturally does more damage against unholy objects, so him having plus 10 accuracy and crit against unholy enemies is very good, as well as hard noggin. If he was built around using headbutt, which can stun the enemy but also could possibly stun him, that might also help me locking that quirk in. And let's see.
I was lord of this place
They all leveled up.
before the crows and rats made it their domain.
Let's see what else is here. A couple of the other characters I have here, as of course, like I said, I was using the Pit Fighter, who is here. I would recommend this mod again. He's based all around stuns, so that also helps. These are his skills, so like this one will do more damage against an enemy that's stunned, which is good if my Crusader's stunning people. Headbutt has a 125 base stun chance on the enemy, but also has a 60% chance base to stun himself. And it also does more damage against bleeding enemies. Jawbreaker is what I use because it has the benefit of it's one of his attacks that are easier to miss, but it does a lot of damage. It has 110% base stun chance, as well as knocks back enemies. And then in case I can't stun anyone, I use Nosebleed, which causes 2 points of bleed damage for 2 turns, as well as decrease their accuracy. And the other ones I don't even really use. A couple other people I use, not DLC, but modded characters are the Crow, which is similar to my Plague Doctor. But instead of the Plague Doctor, when he throws like a grenade or Noxious Blast, he might do 1 damage, maybe, and then cause blight. The Crow usually targets a single enemy, like with Rotten Egg, it'll target 1 enemy, do I think about 6 damage on average, and then blight the target for 3 seconds, or he can blight an entire all the enemies for 1 damage for 3 rounds, and so on. So he's more of single target. The Crow is more single target based, and the Plague Doctor is more focused on single DPS or dots, I should say, damage over time. Another character is the Conqueror. He does. Imagine the Crusader. You've seen how much damage he can do. Imagine him on steroids, and you basically get the Crusader. The only downside he has is that when he attacks, he has a chance to bleed himself because of his weapon is essentially a flail, and flails kind of just rely on gravity, so I guess he accidentally hits himself sometimes or nicks himself. I have the Revenant, who is a heavily armored badass. I haven't really played much of him, but I do know his quirk is he can't go into a fight. Like when you're setting up your team like normal, he won't go into a fight if there's any other highly armored targets. Or highly armored allies, sorry. I have the Martyr, who is apparently a DPS / tank. So apparently he's supposed to be a frontliner. He's supposed to take damage and be able to heal himself. He looks like he's kind of based off the Abomination, based by his character. So like Blood of the Martyr, where he can like heal for 3 to 9 points, which is not cheap at all. He cures Blight and Bleed, but he also has a chance to cause Blight and Bleed, and then he buffs himself for resist. So that's a very weird thing. Barris, and he heals himself for 1 to 2. He cures a little bit of stress. He clears stun and mark target, but also marks himself. So basically, he does things that mark himself as a target so that the rest of your team doesn't get beat on. Who else is here? The Scourge. I have not had a chance to play him, but from what I can tell, he's basically meant to bleed. He's meant to. Everything he does is meant to blight himself. So he essentially gets dots on himself, and then he has attacks like Infectious Offering, where he will attack the enemy, and then he will transfer whatever blight he has on himself to whoever he's attacking. So here, Noxus Rays, when he uses it, he can blight himself for 2 points for 6 rounds. So in total, he take about 12 damage. Then he could use on the next turn, use Infectious Offering and give that 2 blight for now 5 turns over to his enemy. And I also have, I have a marksman, basically someone who uses a musket. I have a wizard warlock class somewhat, but anyway, that'll do it. Thank you all for watching, and if you're interested, please subscribe, comment down below, like, and I'll see you all in the next video.